The Surfing Violinist presents Sprezzatura, Surf Log 51. On March 1st, I started off with a dawn patrol at one of my old surf spot stomping grounds on the east of Walton County near a good surf buddy's house. We spent many a session out here back in the early 2000s, so it was a nice trip down memory lane. And even though it was only ankle high, it was a refreshing start to the month. On March 5th, I posted a PSA on Facebook about a traffic light malfunction, and Bellamy asked if I was surfing in the comments. It was awful, but I paddled out to fight the current pulling into the pier, and lo and behold, there's Bellamy joining me for the torture. We didn't last long, but we got our paddle exercise. On Thursday, March 6th, I checked the pier and wasn't overjoyed by what I saw, so I decided to roll the dice and make the pilgrimage east to Mexico Beach. And wouldn't you know it, Mike Mashburn and Bellamy himself had taken the same leap of faith. So we did something I haven't done in years, a couple drifts from one car to another. We bumped into Captain Coble and Eli. It was your typical Mexico Beach drift day. It looks ankle to knee high with the occasional head high tube out of nowhere. The place gave me a wallop or two for such a small package. I think we all had fun. I think Bellamy said this would count it as a tube for the beach angle, although it looks like nothing more than a head dip from the GoPro. It was only later I found out that Glenn had gotten pics of Warren, Rhett, and Rob at County, and it was somehow looking like this. Made me really question my gamble to go east, because this looks like a day from another era. The conditions and size sure didn't look like this that afternoon when we convened a board meeting with Tate, Thomas, and Josh was frothing over Tate's Medina board. Maybe one of the longest all talk no surf peanut gallery sessions I've been a part of in months. Tate, Thomas, and I almost watched Josh's whole session without the slightest trace of interest in joining him. Josh came in stoked all the same, telling Tate we should have all paddled out. Yet another point for the keeping it consistent crew. On Saturday, March 8th, we had a great session at County, just one of those nice, leisurely, small, clean days. On this one, I am stoked to look back at the footage and find almost no trace of monkey's paw. Could it be? Is my constant barrage of negative self-talk finally yielding results? I mean, posture-wise, this has me pretty stoked. A little less inner kook on display here. Just this month, I remembered a friend from college relaying to us a concept he learned in one of his Renaissance history or lit classes about the Italian Renaissance term Sprezzatura, which can kind of colloquially be interpreted as an artful carelessness, the Renaissance version of being cool, doing something difficult, even virtuosic, but in such a way that it looks effortless. Sprezzatura. While I think I have a long way to go before a Michelangelo statue on a surfboard, I think this is a great improvement over the spaz rigor mortis showboating from last month. But don't worry, I won't let it go to my head. And to help me accomplish that goal, here's a photo taken by Brandon Early while I was walking back up the beach with what has to be the most non-aesthetic surfer image in recent memory. The Lloyd from Dumb and Dumber hairdo, the quintuple chin, the self-deprecating grimace. Yes, this will do. Exorcising the inner kook is a painstaking process, and we must utilize any tools available, even images as ick-inducing as this one. But back in the water, I was pretty stoked that I timed this a bit better than normal. A lot of times, going backside, I rush a forced bottom turn too early, and it sets me up for a mistimed top turn. While this top turn is not going to win any contest anytime soon, it was a much better setup for the rest of the wave, which feels good. Brandon also got a shot of me doing a little turn, and yeah, I'm not too stoked on the caveman fist on that one. I tried east side and got a few micro views. All in all, a fun session, considering the small size. Thomas, Tate, and I celebrated with some sushi. A good Saturday. Monday, March 10th was one of those weird, crazily windy, drifty days that looked perfect when taken out of context. I took my new lens to the beach and snapped pics of Warren and Rob as they were being ripped right into the pier, the best section wedging up right before the pilings, and Warren found some gems. Still figuring out focus, this did not focus in the right spot, but still one of the prettiest looking waves I've snapped in a while. I got some serviceable shots of Warren, Rob, Kyle, Justin, and Ethan. Warren even launched a slob air. It got me amped to fight the current. Me and Tate did so and surfed till dark.
I'm waiting for Dayton right now.
All sunny and shit?
It's nice, dude.
It was a fun session. At first I found some pretty little glassy rights, just views, but looking at it, I wouldn't have thought that this is a blown out mess day. Pier working its magic. Pretty stoked on this. I kind of botched the takeoff, but it worked as a stall. accidentally, and I was able to salvage it with a rail grab. And even though it was just a kind of a back cover, not really a tube, the reset felt pretty nice and hopefully will be useful in future situations. A little bit of a pocket ride on this one. The sun through the lip was nice. I liked this late takeoff from Jono. Looked a lot closer in person. Felt good to connect a wave all the way through. Nothing spectacular from a tech perspective, but it was a fun wave. Tate got some good ones. And this one felt good, but it just doesn't look like I'm getting squared off the bottom enough with the right angle. Still too diagonal and ahead of the pocket. On Sunday, March 16th, I paddled out at County, and I just decided I'd try some outside action. I wasn't able to find one that wasn't closing out, so I only got one ride, but it was the biggest face wave I've seen in a while, even if it didn't fully break top to bottom. Sitting out there did make me realize how much I missed the second sandbar sessions. It just feels like another world, and the waves have so much more open water push. Need to do this more often. And then I finally got a backside combo that made me feel like I'm getting somewhere. Got some tail release on this top turn and was able to pull it back. Felt very nice. That afternoon, me and Tate made a strike mission, and it was a mixed bag. We both got our share of beatings, and I got maybe one of the most critical frontside drops. Doesn't look like much with the fisheye, but it was exhilarating and felt good not to pearl, because it felt super late. On Monday, March 17th, I got a little bit of fading leftovers, and this one felt real good with the down-the-line turn, and then I fumbled it at the end. We went for a skate that night, and I had one of the worst falls trying to show off for the GoPro. Sent the GoPro flying like 30 feet, and had me pogoing on my head. Thankfully, helmet did its job, but my neck felt stiff for a while. On March 20th, Michael Buini set up on the east side of the pier and took some shots. I made the short list, and this one, I was actually kind of stoked on that. I mean, the Dumb and Dumber hair made an appearance, and then, of course, there was this hunchback turn. And excuse the gratuitous butt shot, but really the point of interest here is that cooked out wrist, elbow, and then on this one, it looked like I was just about to fall on my back. Apparently, I may have completed that maneuver, but there's just a lot of wonky body posture stuff going on. This turn looked okay, I think. So, I don't know. We're making progress. It's just, at any given moment, the kookdom shows up. Jake Fairley and Nate Tiller definitely had the performances of the night that night. Funny story about Nate. So I was complaining to Jake and Nate about that Valentine's Day swell. I told them about the story I told in the February vlog about the guy dropping in with dry hair on me and then dropping in on Chase after that. And I reprimanded the guy, said, hey, you need to look both ways. And he's like, oh, I didn't see him. But I wish I would have said to him, well, you didn't see him because you weren't looking both ways. Well, I literally did that to Nate Tiller. I didn't look both ways. He was so far behind. I was like, oh, he didn't make that first section. I don't even think he took off on that wave. He did take off the wave. He did make the section. And so I had to apologize to Nate. I was like, I was just complaining about people not looking both ways. I didn't look both ways. So mea culpa. So again, we all make mistakes. We do need to own up to those as mistakes, though, and admit that they're mistakes and not say, oh, well, I didn't see anybody, therefore it wasn't my mistake. On Thursday, March 29th, I started out at the state park and stubbornly waited for the little into the wind roller right to work its fickle magic. And weirdly enough, it worked right as John was doing the Mr. Surf Live surf report. I felt really good about this one. I was really happy with how I timed the setup for the first maneuver. Too often I flail pump too far on the first section and get ahead of the wave, so this one felt much more poised. The park is trying to get back to its old self after the most recent dredge, and it had its moments in March. Found a couple dredgy mini slabs on the wide section in front of the overlook, and it was fun pig dog practice. Ended the surf month on March 30th with a final pier sesh. This backside top turn felt maybe even better than that one in the morning earlier in the month. Got confirmation from Michael Mashburn that I got a little fins out the back with a nice sound to go along with it. All in all, March was a pretty good month for surf. Inspired by the local skimmers who were doing a lot of practice for Skim Jam, I got some skimming in at the end of March and beginning of April, but we'll cover that in the next vlog. Until next time, keep it consistent, even if the surf isn't. Godspeed ex-Howleys in training. To see these videos early, without ads, join the lineup here on YouTube. You just need a YouTube account, and for $1.99 a month, you click this little join button and sign up to get early and ad-free access to 4 monthly vlogs: the surf vlog, the violin vlog, the Masala vlog, and the family vlog. Thank you very much.